So welcome back to my channel. This is Gamer Dom and another top 5. So this time we're going to look at the heavy hitters of the tier 6 heavy tanks. These are the highest damage dealers of all the tier 6 heavy tanks in the game, and tier 6 gets a little bit of a hard time with heavy tanks because they'll obviously see tier 8s, and some of the tier 8s are monsters. But still, these things can do a fair bit of damage in the right matchups, in the right games, and in the right hands. So let's have a look. So, top 5. So number 5 is this thing, which is slightly surprising to me. There's a couple of real surprises on this list, for me at least. This is the tier 6 German premium heavy tank, the Tiger 131. This was, it's basically like the tier 7 Tiger 1, but drop down a tier with a slightly inferior gun. So this thing comes with the 88 long 56 gun, which has a penetration of 145, 194 with premium, and 220 average damage, but a pretty accurate, well actually not that accurate, 0.38 accuracy, reasonable rate of fire of 8.57. So this thing is kind of how you, when it's top tier, it's kind of how you envisage a Tiger should play when it's, when you think about the historic Tiger being a dominant force on the battlefield. Sadly, tier 7-1, yeah, in the right hands, if you know what you're doing, you can do a lot of damage, but you can't play it very aggressively like you would imagine it would have been played in the real, well, if you read histories how it was played. This thing, when this is top tier, you can play very aggressively. It's a very, very aggressive machine and very good machine. So this comes in at an average of, well, in the last 30 days, VD Addicts say that there's been 17,132 games, and it's averaging 605.93 damage per game. Though not a huge number of games because it's a premium and hasn't been sold that often, but still a pretty reasonable amount of damage. 605 damage is not bad at all. So that's number 5. So at number 4, they've nerfed it a lot, but it still remains one of the most potent tier 6 heavy tanks in the game, and that's the OI, the tier 6 Japanese super obese tank. This thing, when it first arrived on the battlefield, sent people scurrying in terror. And Wargaming recognised that it and the tier 5 were a little bit OP, and so they've nerfed it, but still it's there at number 4, and a lot of games played in it. 113,211 in the last 30 days, 613.30 average damage per game. Pretty darn impressive, and that's largely down to this top gun, I would suggest. You can equip this with 150mm, 115 centimeter howitzer. Now you can fire AP, but most people would fire HE. Only has a penetration of 75, but potential damage of 910 if it goes through. And even if it doesn't, you're doing 200-300 a shot. So only 2 of those shots, and you can pretty much guarantee to hit the average in terms of average damage. So that is the beast at tier 6, the OI. So another surprise for me, at least, in the top 5 tier 6, top 5 tier 6, it's difficult for me to say, heavy tanks in the game at the moment, is actually the Tog III. Comes in at place 3. Tog III, the Slug, beloved of Mighty Jingles, if you ever watch his videos. This thing is just a weird tank. It's a great slug of tank that survives basically on its very, very high health pool, and actually fairly effective gun. It comes with a 17-pounder gun, average penetration of 171, 239 with premium, but only 150 average damage. So it trades health for DPM. Very high DPM gun, which is very effective in the game. So 2000, well, this one for me with a loader and an automatic rammer, I'm getting 2000, just over 2000 DPM in my Tog. So you know, and I think probably this thing has gone up in terms of damage because of the lack of artillery. Much less artillery in the game than there used to be, and you can imagine this thing was just, Artie just went, oh, pinata, lovely. So only 9,067 games, but 614.55 average damage. So that's number 3. So another surprise to me, it's all surprising to me, the heavy tank number 6, the Japanese premium tier 6 heavy tank, comes in at number 2 in terms of average damage now. And why is it a surprise to me? Well, it's identical to the Tiger 131. So the fact it's Japanese over German gets it another nearly 20 average damage per game, which is slightly surprising. So this thing, 35,167 games, averaging 631.28 damage per game. And as I say, it's exactly the same as the 131. Oh, there's a slight difference to the cupola, but otherwise it's the same vehicle. Lazy Wargaming just rebranded the 131 and stuck it out. So not that this was much hard work to develop from the Tiger 1. So same chassis as the Tiger 1 at tier 7, both of these tanks, but with a slightly weaker gun, which is this L56 gun. As we said, 145 average pent, 194 with premium, 220 average damage. So that's your number 2. So hands up who would have predicted that the KV2 would come in at number 1 of all tier 6 heavy tanks for damage dealt. No surprise at all for me. This thing is the beast of a tank down at tier 6, and it will hold its own at tier 8s. In the days when you could do all kinds of weird things with platoons, in fact, if you look around on YouTube, you can probably find it. There was a very, very good game which shows this thing platooned up with a tier 10 and going into a tier 10 game and absolutely dominating it. And why does it do that? Well, everyone knows the reason why. It has this 152mm gun, short barreled gun, doesn't pen much, 86 penetration with an HE shell, but 910 average damage, bit like the OI. This thing is all about blasting people in the face as much as you possibly can, causing module and crew damage to the target as well as wrecking them up. So 145,556 games on average, a total have been played in the last 30 days in this thing, and it's averaging nearly 660 average damage per game, which is basically 2 hits. 2 hits if you haven't penetrated, 1 if you penetrate, and that's why it's a bruiser. So there you go, that's your top damage dealer at tier 6 heavy tanks. Unsurprisingly, the KV2 Russian tier 6 heavy tank. As if that's funny. And he's got a little pecker on there. Sorry, he's got a little pecker on the end of this gun. It is, what I liked about this game was he is a relatively inexperienced player, shall we say. Only played 6,000 games. Win rate is only 780, but he's going to have one of those games that the KV2 allows you to have sometimes. And also what I like about it, he's only loaded HE. He's got no premium rounds at all. Premium on this tank is heat. Now some people will also say that you should fire AP. I personally don't like firing AP in this, and it's too hit or miss. But some people I know swear by it. It just happens they're wrong. Here we go, we're going to poke out. Oh, there's an ONI. Put a shell straight into the ONI before he could even react. Only 198 damage, but hey, it's a good start. T29 and the AMX are getting very aggressive. Got lots of friends around us, so we're not so bad here. But T29 has fired, which means we've got a few seconds. Love this, aimed right for the, see that? Aimed right for the machine gun port, and he penetrated that T29. 975 damage, almost certainly would have done something to his modules or crew or something. AMX is being very aggressive, got into a very aggressive position here. Can we get... Oh, come on, side shot. I just pulled forward. Oh my word. That would have done a maximum hit on the AMX. But he's already done his average here. He's done 1100 damage. So he's beaten the average straight away with only, what, 2 actual killing hits? Or damaging hits? Oh, T29, what are you doing? Oh dear. Dying, I think, going back to the garage. Yeah, you don't want to be aggressive when there's a KV2 on the other side of a rock. You really do not. No matter what your tier, you really do not want to be aggressive with a KV2 around. So the Oni has fired. We're just about reloaded. Can we get a shot on him? Oh, he's got his turret side on as well. Oh, I just turned it back. Don't think it would have penetrated, but did 300, still did 338 to the side of the turret of that Japanese super obese tank. Now, what next? Did the Oni fire? I'm not sure he did. We don't want to risk it. Waiting. You can see he's looking very carefully to see... Oh, there's enemy KV2. Can't get a shot on him, unfortunately. KV2 doesn't have much armour, so one of the problems with it is you can't afford to take much damage. Pushing against the... oh, is that... No. Ah, damn. Team are losing. Can we get the... Oh, we can get... Nice. Holding the shot there. Holding and holding and holding the shot to try and get a side shot into that AMX. And finally decided he had to take the hit. And he's got an M6 behind him. He's been pushed on all sides. Somebody takes down the AMX, which is going to save Pekka's life, I think. M6 has got very little chance against him. Oh, what's this guy doing? Giving his life away. That's it. We brought the score back 8-all. Frenetic stuff. 2,000 damage. 2 kills to Pekka. There's much more to be had out there. Oni. Which way is he looking? That's the problem. Don't really know. Oh, and he's fired. Right, so we got time. But can we beat the reload? I don't know. I don't know. Good players would know the reload times of different tanks. I am not entirely sure whether we'd beat the reload on that Oni. Whatever it is, the Oni's pulling back. So that's something at least. Team's losing again. But we can correct that very, very quickly. And get the shot. Very nice indeed. Sorry, I'm in the wrong mode. As you would have seen where he's aiming there. It's very odd. He holds the angle of the view at a very odd angle, so it's quite difficult to see. So I've been switching between free camera and fixed. T-34's fired, which means we can move forward. Got to watch out for the wall. You can't fire HE through a wall. Come on, you got him. You got him. You got him. Come on, you can get him. Take him. Oh no. Oh, he's coming through. Right. Nice. Tracks him. Somebody can hit him up the jacksie now. We're using the dead Japanese obese to save us from being shot in the side. Only 4 enemy tanks left. Done nearly 3,000 damage. Sturmwagen S1 there, the cash register. Trouble is, we're going to take a shot if we come around that corner. Look at him, he's looking straight at us. Oh, and he's got backup of a Sioux. Oh, that's not somewhere we want to go. Sioux's finally turned. Come on, what are we going to do here? What are we going to do? And there's an AMX coming around behind. Someone fire. Aiming for the commander's hatch. Nice shot. Well, this guy seems to know what he's doing. He's aiming for the weak spots. He's maybe he's a reroll, but or maybe he's just very, very good, or learnt the rules very, very quickly how the game plays. Because you can see he's aiming for weak spots, like he did with that T-29. He fired at the machine gun hatch, a machine gun cupola. Has the S1 fired again? Yes, he has. Right, we'll take him down. And he's playing this really cagily, Playing it exactly right, as a bottom tier tank should do. Waiting for the moment when the enemy tanks are fired, then popping out to take his opportunity. There's only an Achilles, the Su-152 and the AMX left against 3 heavy tanks. The trouble is, this guy could well be still looking. Oh, they're swamping off. There's nothing. He wants to do something. You can see he wants to do something to help, but he can't. Oh, well, that helps. That evens things up. Right. 4,100 damage. 5 kills. He wants that Achilles for his top gun. Will he get him? Only him and the VK left. If he catches the Achilles, he can kill him in one shot. Oh, the VK's on very, very low health. Now the good news is here, he can take a hit. Pekka can take a hit. He's got plenty of health left. And the Achilles can't do that much damage to him unless he happens to get lucky and ammo rack him or something. So where has that Achilles gone? 4,100 damage. Now what I also like here is the two of them have joined together. They're working together. And you see so many in-game situations where the two tanks wander off alone. Now, in some ways it's, well, not in some ways, it definitely is in Pekka's interest to work with the VK, because the KV-2 is blind as a bat. It's one of the worst view ranges of any tank in the game. Like most Russian tanks do, actually. So, by sticking, he's got a chance. So he's saying to the VK, I'll go cap. Now, if I was them, I would have done it the other way around. I would have said, VK, you go and cap, because you've got less health, and try and cover him. But I suppose because he has got more health, there's more chance of him surviving. But it only takes one reset. There's only 6 minutes left in this game. Drives past all the wrecked heavy tanks here. So let's just speed this up just a little bit. Is he going to get the final kill? What's that Achilles going to try and do? Send the VK to defend the base. I'm not sure that's a good plan. That Achilles is on full health. There he is. Oh, he's giving his knife away. Oh, we missed him. Oh my goodness. And there's the problem with the KV-2. Not enough armour. Wiggling a bit, but can we get another shot off? Oh my word. Oh no, he's on 200 health. He'll take 2 more hits. There's one of them, but only tracked him. Notice he's also not got any repairs or anything on this tank, so there's no equipment. So he can't repair tracks, he can't repair dead crew members. Oh, and he was so unfortunate there. Didn't manage to pen the Achilles side on. I have no idea why not. He should have done. And he dies. Oh, what a heartbreak. Achilles takes him down, and that's probably going to be it. 4,572 damage. And 5 kills. And why his shell did not penetrate the Achilles, I have no idea. Let's see what this VK can do. He's got no ammo rack. He also doesn't seem to be using any kind of repair equipment. You forget some of the beginner players just don't understand about putting equipment on and what that will actually do for your tank. What do you reckon, guys? Who's your money on? Achilles with 2 kills, or Barbie doll here? How did he spot him without the Achilles spotting him? Or did they spot each other and there just isn't sixth sense? And this guy probably hasn't got sixth sense, has he? 3 minutes left. VK can't take a hit. The Achilles should possibly be able to. Oh, he got him! Bet you didn't see that coming, guys. What a cracker. Well played. So what a monster of a game that was, eh? Apologies for the camera swinging around a bit. It was something in the way that he'd recorded it, or he'd his viewpoint when he was playing the game. It was very odd. So I was trying to switch between the two views to try and give you a decent perspective of what was going on. But what a game! Ace Tanker, Bruiser, Fighter, Fire for Effect, and High Caliber. Of course, he finished top of the team. 4,572 damage, 5 kills, 2,184 base XP. He was bottom tier, remember, and did 4,000 damage. Nobody else came even close, not even, well, virtually half what he did of both teams. So he was double what any other player got on each team. 15 shots fired, he hit with 13 and he did damage with 13, even got a little bit of splash damage for that 4,500 damage. Took 7 hits himself. The problem with the KV2, no armor, so 6 of the 7 penetrated him, and up to the final one that killed him. But he doesn't run a premium count. 51,000 credits, didn't need to fire anything other than HE, so 34,000 XP profit, credits profit at the end of the game, and 2,184 XP. So there you go. That is what the tier 6 heaviest damage dealing tank, the KV2, can do. With a little bit of luck, a little bit of good play, and a heck of a lot of Russian 152mm HE. So there are actually 11 tier 6 heavy tanks in the game right now, both premium and standard. And the bottom third, or the bottom 3, start with this, the M6, the American tier 6 heavy tank. I can't honestly say an awful lot about this because I've never played it. It is, well, it just is too big, I think, is its problem, really, in terms of, look at that big frontal flat patch on the armor at the front there. It has a fairly effective 90mm gun, 160mm of penetration, a whopping 243 with premium, and 240 average damage. But yeah, this thing comes in at number 9, so third from bottom. 45,710 games, 452.05 is a lot less than the top tanks in this tier. So that's your number 9. So the second worst tier 6 heavy tank for damage dealt in the last 30 days, we have to go to Britain, and we see the Churchill 7. This thing is only managing 444.70 damage per game over 36,268 games, which is a real shame. It has actually a fairly effective gun. It is this 77mm gun. Whoops, wrong one, sorry, that one. 148 penetration, very impressive. 208 with premium, but only 140 alpha, and people respect alpha, and it's not the most accurate in the West. So lots of flat armor surfaces, which mean it gets eaten very, very quickly. So yeah, that's your number 10. So the worst damage dealer on average of tier 6 heavy tanks in the game goes to Germany. This is the VK3601H. Actually a tank I quite enjoyed and only recently got rid of. Its problem is it's got no armor, no real armor at all to talk about. So, and it's flat what armor it has had. So look at that, hull armor 100mm, 60 at the side, 60 at the side. Even the turret's only 100mm, and 80 and 80. Does actually have reasonable guns. There's a couple of good options here. You've got the 88mm long 56, which is exactly the same gun as on the Tiger, the Japanese Tiger, and the 131, which is fairly good. And then you also have this gun, which is a very, very high penetration 75mm, sort of aka the Panther, 157 penetration. Doesn't have any HE rounds, but 221 with premium, only 135 average damage. But this thing is struggling. Nearly 65,000 games in the last 30 days, only managing 416.27 average damage. And a reminder, the KV2 did 659, so you know that's a clear nearly 250 average damage difference in these two tier 6s. So that's the bottom of the pile. That's the Sado. That's the number 11 in the charts of the top and bottom tier 6 heavy tanks for damage dealt. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and let me know what you think down below. Are you surprised by some of these things? I mean, other things that came, the complete chart, I'll give you it here, is the KV2 is top, the heavy tank number 6 is second, Tog II third, OI fourth, Tiger 131 fifth, the T150 comes in at 6th, the ARL 44 at 7th, the KV 85 at 8, and then the M6 at 9, Churchill at 10, and the VK down at 11. And that's your chart really for tier 6 damage dealers in the last 30 days according to VD Addicts. So if you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. I will be back with another chart fairly soon, but if there's anything you want me to feature, just let me know in the comments down below, and let me know what you think, whether you're surprised or not by this. I don't think anyone will be surprised that KV2 was the top of the pile, but I'm surprised that there's such a difference between the heavy tank number 6 and the Tiger 131, given the fact they're the same tank, but maybe others aren't. Anyway, enjoy your games, have fun, try not to take it too seriously, and I will see you again soon. This is Gamer Dom signing out.